All right. Happy Monday, beautiful people. Oh. Sorry. Top of the day, beautiful people. Happy Monday. It is April the 25th, 2022. Day 91 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1109. Today, we're going to pick up where we left off at on page 28 in the Oahspe. And then we're going to get started on page 71 in the meditation book. All right, beautiful people. Francis, shalom. Shayla, grand rising. You say great rising. I say grand. Great rising, the Tawii. All right, beautiful people. Father, we thank you for another day to seek out the truth and become better in all that we do. All right, y'all. All right, chapter 15, second column, second paragraph in the second column. All right. Hold on, y'all. Okay, all right. Second paragraph, second column, chapter 15. Hajjah said, with the exaltation of Moab, so shall my places be exalted before Jehovah. Let the enumerators of the communities of heaven send representatives before me. The communities of manufacturers who produce food and clothes for the Essenes, the communities for hospitals and nurseries, the communities for education, the communities for training messengers, and all other communities. When the representatives came, according to the instructions of the marshals, and were before the throne, Hajjah said, the toilers shall not always be toilers. The physicians will not always. Oh, okay. The toilers shall not always be toilers. The physicians not always runners after the sick. Whoever is proficient will I exalt. He that can walk shall no longer crawl. Many are wise and strong, and some have passed beyond the boundary of self-desires for self's sake. As a child may not have self-desires, but then it lacketh wisdom and strength. A full-grown man or woman may have wisdom and strength, but lack in the abnegation of self. I will make every community a double from this time forth, and one shall be called Maga, and the other shall be called Minga. Maga shall be my promoted laborers who are being prepared for the second resurrection, and Maga's labor shall be in concert with Moab, the house of Jehovah. But Minga's labor shall be as the heretofore, even with the individual affairs and the organizing of new places for the delivered Essenes, who are the fruit of the Lord's and their kingdoms on the earth.
Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome, Pudding. Let my marshals select judges to carry out these my decrees in the name of Jehovah. Chapter 16. Mom, shalom, shalom. From the founding of Horeb until the installment of Hajjah was 130 years, and at the time the Lord Kingdom of Heaven was fully organized according to the decree of Jehovah, and the kingdoms of the lords on earth were also fully established. And at that time the earth had passed into Hanshi in the Etherian space, where dwell the Osirian Shrivars, to whom the swift messengers from God had reported the condition of the earth's surface with the tablets of the grade and ingrade of with the tablets of grade and ingrade of mortals. The Shrivars said, the earth hath not attained her fullness. The gases of her low regions must be purified to make more places for mortals. So it came to pass, there fell upon the earth, by command of the Shrivars, the will of Jehovah, by the will of Jehovah, fire and brimstone and iron and phosphorus, and the shower thereof reached into the 5 divisions of the earth. But ere the fall thereof, God was apprised, and he apprised the lords, and they informed the Ashars, and they impressed such mortals as were in rapport with heavenly things, and the chosen marched away from the places of destruction, so that not one perished. Trina, Betwabu, Lavan, blessings. But many of the Asuans were consumed in the fire. But God sent extra workmen and surgeons and physicians from heaven down to such spirits as were falling into forgetfulness and dissolution, and commanded that they be engrafted on the surviving Asuans for pity's sake. And this was accomplished through the lords of the earth and their servants, the Ashars. At the end of 200 years, God enumerated the people in the lower heaven, and there were, besides the spirits of the fetals, many whom were doubtful as to everlasting life, 296 million souls. Of this number, there had been raised up into the grade of brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah more than 30 million. And then it has reference number 10 after 30 million, and it has 30 millions. It just has million with the S. That was a change from millions to million. All subsequent similar changes are not footnoted. See editor's note number 2. Okay. Of this number, there had been raised up to the grade of bride and bridegrooms to Jehovah more than 30 million, who were the first of the earth's production. And now was the 6th generation of the seed of the fallen angels delivered, and this was the fullness of the earth bondage for them. God summoned the house of Moab for the revelations of Jehovah on the first day of the first year of Dan of Hanshi. And when they were thus assembled and had chanted to Jehovah appropriate anthems for the times past, the all lights came upon God, and he said, behold, the time of Dan of Hanshi is at hand. Ere 3 days pass by, the hosts of the Etherian heavens will descend to accomplish the resurrection of my host to the regions whence they came 200 years ago. Summon my lords of the earth and my people of heaven, proclaim my words unto them. Ye that people the earth with everlasting life, give ear. The harvest of the new year is ripened, it shall be gathered into the heavens above. Let my people rejoice, for the glory of deliverance is at hand. There awaiteth, full of hope and love, in Osirian fields, host of angels and archangels, to receive these, the first fruits of the new earth. Clothe them in quietness with the rays of light. Make ready, for Etherian gods and goddesses are setting sail in the regions above to come and deliver us. Proclaim my words in all the places Proclaim my words in all places in the name of Jehovah, and add unto them, saying, and to as many as desire to ascend, come ye to Moab in the name of the Son of Jehovah. Messengers went forth, both in heaven and on earth, and proclaimed as had been commanded. And on the 3rd day there had assembled in Moab and Horeb 90 million angels, to witness the descending and ascending of Jehovah's chosen. And the archangels of Hanshi sent 100,000 gods and goddesses to guard Moab and Horeb around about, to dispel and keep away the clouds and sunshine, so as to add glory to the scene. Next chapter, chapter 17. Lewis is spelled Loo, apostrophe is, Lewis. The Lewis came before God, and having organized themselves into one community so as to make it lawful to speak in Moab, they appointed Gawasa to speak on behalf of the community. Gawasa said, "Hear me, O God, in the name of Jehovah. Thou hast ordained me according to the custom of heaven to be a master of generations with mortals, and yet one generation is incomplete. Wherefore I have come before thee. This day I have been summoned by Jehovah through thy messengers, saying, to as many as desire to enter the next resurrection, come, for the time of harvest is at hand. Thus saith God, Son of Jehovah, behold, now another generation do I desire to dwell on earth." God said, "The places of heaven are open to all. If thou wouldest ascend now, do even so. If thou wilt tarry one generation, then thou shalt tarry 200 years, for of such period will be the next harvest." Gawasa said, "In Jehovah's name, let my brethren pass before thee in judgment." God said, "Jehovah's will be done." Gawasa withdrew and went and told his brethren what was said, and presently they came in and passed judgment before God. God said, "Thou hast said, let me pass in judgment before thee. Hear me then, for this is my judgment. If thou ascend with thy work incomplete, thou wilt be the unhappiest of men. Remain, therefore, for a greater glory is within thy reach." The Lewis passed and left, signifying their determination to tarry yet 200 years more with mortals. After the Lewis came others desiring to be adjudged by God, and to all who had incompleted work, God said, "Remain," and they remained. Besides, these were 72,000 Etherians eligible to ascend, who volunteered to remain with mortals another 200 years. Amongst these were the 5 lords of Haja, and 400 messengers belonging to Horeb, and 700 women infidel in the western division of Horeb under Waga, Lord of Waga. Then after it says under Waga, it has reference number 11, and it says under Waga, Lord of Waga. It just repeats it, but Lord of Waga is in brackets. That's the only change. Okay. Chapter 18. Oh, we had 13 minutes. We make a real good time. Okay. These chapters are a little bit short, too. Let me see. How much longer is this book? Oh. It ain't that long. We might be done with it tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. Chapter 18. Jehovah spake in the ark of Oahspe in the Orion field of Hanshi in the Etherian heaven. Jehovah said, "The time of the earth is at hand. The deliverance of her firstborn will fall at your doors. Come forth, O my son and daughters. Receive ye them from my hand." Onsi, I think it's Onsi. Onesyi. Yeah. Oahspe, high aspiring goddess of Hanshi, and the 1,000 counselors gathered in a host of 5 million souls, emancipated, and to them the dignified Oahspe spake, saying, "Unlike all harvests heretofore, delivered to us from other corporal worlds, Jehovah sendeth us the firstborn of the earth. Let us rejoice and glorify him, O my beloved. Send forth to the boundaries of Hanshi, and proclaim the hosts of earth upraised. Provide them with mansions and quarters, yet ye that remain at home, and ye that volunteer to go to the earth to receive them, come quickly." Oahspe said, "Swift messengers have just come to me from the ark of Wan. Etizai will be there. She it was who bestowed Jehovah's crown on the first god of the corporal earth. Her host, 1,000,000 strong, go by the way of Tawii, and pray we all meet them in Oahspe, and thou, Wistal, shall sit on my throne. I will I will to the earth to receive the 30 million newborn, the glorious gift of Jehovah. Oahspe said, the young virgin earth hath given birth. Oh, the joy of the firstborn. I will take with me a host of singers, 1,000,000 strong. Their voices shall have power and sweetness to win the love and adoration of all the 30 million. The glory of Jehovah's works shall shine so brilliantly upon them that all past trials shall be forgotten. Hasten, O ye gods and goddesses, let down the curtains of fire. Here begins the play of Jehovah and the management of a new world. Now gathered together, men and women, long raised up in the emancipated heavens, whose wheels were potent over Oahspe and Nebula, and swift in appropriating what Jehovah had fashioned in the firmament. And they built a ship, the size of which was equal to the width of Horeb, and filled it with angels of the rank of gods and goddesses, many of who had been brought forth into life before the earth was created, and whose native corporeal worlds had gone out of existence. And they let down curtains from the ship, and the curtains were like flames of fire, and they reached downward, equal to the breadth of the earth. These gods and goddesses were as a unit in will, and potent and swift workmen, and the ship was laden, and on her course through the vault of heaven. Past the Asian fields of Chiwang she rode swiftly. Soon the hosts of the much-loved Etizii were seen in a smaller craft, highly polished and swift, making way for Oahspe. Up goeth a shout of joy from millions of throats, then a song of delight. Heaven is joyful in Jehovah's boundless dominions. And now the twain approached Oahspe, and they slackened speed to near each other, nearer and nearer to the ship's touch, and are joined by skilled workmen. Forth leaped the two goddesses, Etizii and Oahspe, and in no stateliness or ceremony, but like children in whom love is transcended, they fly to each other's arms amidst the outburst of joy from the countless throng. Yet onward moves the Etherean ship, majestic and meteor-like, steadily taking course to the new earth. Chapter 19, Zoe Betwabu, Jerry, O great spirit creator, O great spirit, our creator, open our spirit to your truth always. Amen. All right, chapter 19. And now the evening of the third day had come, and God and his hosts in Moab were hastening all things to be ready for the great light that was to descend from high heaven. The 90 million angels looked upward, watching for the dawning of the light, waiting and watching. And many a one who remembered Etizii of 200 years ago wondered if she would return in glory, like when she came and crowned God by Jehovah's command. Some were robing themselves in white and hastening nervously like a bride about to be wed. Some were half inclined to sorrow for leaving the earth and the lower heaven where they had toiled so long, and some were stately, and by their presence said, Thy will be done, O Jehovah. God ascended the throne, and Haja came up and sat on his right hand, and the light of Jehovah shone upon them, so that many newborn, especially of the Essene spectators, could not look upon them. God said, One Dan hath come and gone. This harvest is but 30 millions. Haja said, Thy son, O Jehovah, hath shaped the destiny of a world. Great is his glory. A light of golden hue gathered above the throne and took the form of a triangle, where there was a graven image at every corner, the which, when read, was OID, and it was the character of Waga, bestowed by the Lord on the altars and the house of worship on earth, and its value was 33 million, of which was the exact number prepared for the emancipated heaven in Etheria, and the 33 was the years of a generation of mortals. God said, Jehovah is one, the living is one. In it hold on. Inanimate. I'm sorry. They broke the word up and it messed me up. Okay. God said, Jehovah is one. The living is one. Inanimate corpore is one. And these three are the entirety. To teach mortals this, O Haja, is to give wisdom to the earth. Take thou this triangle, O thou, son of the Most High, and as long as Cephas endures on earth, shall it be bequeathed. Let me start over. Let me just start all the way over. Back to the beginning of verse 7. God said, Jehovah is one. The living is one. Inanimate corpore is one. And these three are the entirety. To teach mortals this, O Haja, is to give wisdom to the earth. Take thou this triangle, O thou, son of the Most High, and as long as the Cephas endure on the earth, shall it be the bequeathed heirloom of heaven, descending from God to God that occupieth the throne. Thereupon God stretched forth his hands, and the triangle became fixed and solid, and God hung it on Haja's neck, adding, In the name of Jehovah, receive thou this jewel as my parting testimonial. Remember that when mortals are raised up to understand this symbol of 3 in 1, then will cosmen begin to dawn on the earth. Verse 9. Haja said, O God, thou symbol of the 3 attributes, love, wisdom, and power, thou didst leave thy stately home, where thou hast gods and goddesses for companions, and come to the far-off earth, which was young and curtained round with poisonous gases, to guard the young and imperfect angels of other worlds in their wanderings forth, with thy wisdom, love, and power concealed. Thou didst give them liberty, and yet redeemed them. Thou hast stretched forth thy hand over the earth, and made it to yield souls to glorify the Creator. And yet, in all the while, thou hast never quoted thyself. Oh, that this could be taught to angels and men. Who is it that will not trip, or mention himself, or make himself a manifested self? Let me read that again. I'll go back up. Haja said, O God, thou symbol of the 3 attributes, love, wisdom, and power, thou didst leave thy stately home, where thou hast gods and goddesses for thy companions, and come to a far-off earth, which was young and curtained round about with poisonous gases, to guard the young and imperfect angels of other worlds in their wanderings forth, with thy wisdom, love, and power concealed. Thou didst give them liberty, and yet redeemed them. Thou hast stretched forth thy hand over the earth, and made it to yield souls to glorify the Creator. And yet, in all the while, thou hast never quoted thyself. Oh, that this could be taught to angels and men. Who is it that will not trip, or mention himself, or make himself a manifested self? This day I am to be crowned, to fill the place thou hast built up. But I falter and tremble like a child. Haja burst into tears, and after a little while he added, O Jehovah, why hast thou laid Haja's tears so close? Thou hast created love in my soul, and it hath grown to be a mountain. God, thy Son, who hath been my tutor for 1,000 years, and on many worlds, corporal and is now thrusting thy glory upon me. God said, Heed thou the earth and her heavens, for they are to be thine for one Dan. And remember also that though I ascend with my host to Ethera, yet I will have charge of this world until the completion of this cycle, 2,800 years. My archangels shall henceforth answer to the prayers to Jehovah. My archangels shall henceforth answer to the prayers. I keep forgetting thy. My archangels shall henceforth answer to thy prayers to Jehovah. Suddenly a light came down from the firmament like a new star, twinkling with a halo extending wide on every side. All eyes were turned up, full of expectancy. Hushed and still, the 90 million stood. Presently, the star assumed a bright phase and spread its halo outward with horns descending like a crescent, such as is formed in sacred worship when a god standeth in the midst. Larger and brighter the light grew, and tremulous and waving like sheets of fire. Large and brighter the light grew, and tremulous and waving like sheets of fire. Then shot down toward Hor and Moab 3 rays of light, piercing and in advance of the central orb. And the 3 rays were red, blue, and yellow, but the crescent beyond was white, and it shone abroad over the heavens, so that the corporal sun and stars in the firmament were invisible. At beholding the majesty of the grandeur of Jehovah's host descending, millions of Essenes, clouded souls in the lower heaven, broke and fled. Some ran and hid to avoid the threatening light. For such is the magnifying power of the Ethereal flame, that all dark thoughts and hidden evil lurking in the soul are magnified and made so plain that even the dumb can read them through. Millions of the Etherians on God's staff had seen such scenes before and now stood in glee, firmly riveted by the joy within them. To them, a 100 to 1. To them, 100 to 1 clung the newly raised from earth, who had never known any other heaven, save such as travaileth with the earth, around about the sun every year. From these there rose millions of whispers, saying, It is like a new death, like a new birth. Behold, a man dieth on earth, and his spirit flieth off to another world. And yet now again it flieth off still to another world. Quickly now came the 3 great rays, foremost projecting, and these were the orders of marshals from the Aegean fields of Oahspe and Hanshi. The red lights represented Aji, the blue lights represented Oahspe, and the yellow Hanshi. And there were of marshals 1,000,000, and they cast the curtains round about to cover all of Horeb, the great kingdom. Chief of the marshals was Ajin, and next to him were 5 sub-chiefs, and next to them 1,000 tributary chiefs, who were masters of ceremonies, and they came in the center of the descending 3 great rays of light, came swiftly and direct toward the throne of God. And the substance of the rays of light was like curtains of cloth, one end of which reached up to the now near approaching crescent sea of fire. When the light was near, touching on the pillars of 5 surrounding Moab, it slackened a little, and then more and more slowly. The chieftains leaped from the Ethereal flames and stood at the foot of God's throne, saluting in Jehovah's name. God and Ahijah stood up and answered the sign, then descended and went to the left and right of Ajin. And they descended, and Ajin sat upon the throne, and the voice of Jehovah spake through him, saying, Hold up your heads and rejoice, O my sons and daughters. Behold, I come in a flame of fire. I am here. I am here, am there, and throughout the place of heaven, boundless. I gather together, and I put asunder the loves of mortals and angels, for they shall go abroad in my firmament and behold my glorious works. Down to the corporeal world I descend, and carry hence the love, for they are mine. I will make all people look up to my kingdoms. Down to the lower heaven I come in ships of light, curtained about with ethereal mantles, and gather in my harvest of new births to higher worlds more radiant. My hosts below shall look up and glorify my everlasting splendors. Okay, and it has plate 1 right here, and it doesn't mention plate 1 before the end of this chapter, but I don't really see it mentioning it anywhere. I'm just going to show you plate 1, which is one of the drawings that the guy who wrote this out under the power of the automatic writing. So all the plates were the things that he was shown, and he just kind of drew it out, right? So this looks like a river between two masses of land, and there's possibly trees on the, it looked like trees on both sides. And then there's like this signal going up to heaven in like a crescent form. Okay, that's for Facebook. Alright, so I got the whole picture in the screen. Melinda Brown, Grand Rising. Hey, Auntie. Okay, this is for YouTube. That should be the whole thing. Oh, okay, that's the whole picture in the screen. Okay. And we're going to pause after we finish reading this chapter right here. This one is almost done. Put this out right here. Okay. I give the tear of grief and sorrow and pity, but in its flowing forth, I come with holier light and power to stir up the souls of my people. For they shall learn to speak to their Father who heareth and giveth ear, and is full of love. You know, something just clicked while this is explaining. Clearly, I get it, but they was just talking about how, who was this that was talking? One of the current god, Haja. Was it Haja? Haja was talking, and he was saying, oh, that men and angels could learn this. Pretty much talking about the character of Jehovah, on how, where is it at? Hold on, y'all. We literally just read it. He was pretty much praising him and telling how great he was. I feel the place. But even in all his power, he never like asserted it and even made himself flesh. I'm trying to find it so I can read the exact words. I think it's right here. I should have underlined it. Heirlooms. Oh, right here. Verse 9. I read it. Haja said, O God, thou symbol of the three attributes, love, wisdom, and power, thou didst leave thy stately home where thou hadst gods and goddesses for thy companions, and come to the far-off earth, which was young and curtained round about with poisonous gases, to guard the young and imperfect angels of other worlds in their wanderings forth with thy wisdom, love, and power, with thy wisdom, love, and power concealed. Thou didst give them liberty and yet redeem them. Thou hast stretched forth thy hand over the earth and made it to yield souls to glorify the Creator. And yet in all the while, this is the part I was talking about, and yet in all the while, thou hast never quoted thyself, or in all this time you've never talked about yourself or boasted about yourself. And yet in all the while, thou hast never quoted thyself, Oh, that this could be taught to angels and men. Who is it that will not trip or mention himself or make himself a manifested self? That was just, as I read that the first time, I actually read verse 9 a couple of times, but it was just sinking in. But the more I read, it just like really sunk in, like clearly we know, right? But I don't know, it just seemed to sink in just a little bit more in my thinking. Okay, hop back over here. I'll go back to verse 23. I give the tear of grief and sorrow and pity, but in its flowing forth, I come with holier light and power to stir up the souls of my people, for they shall learn to speak to their Father, who heareth and giveth ear and is full of love. My joy is in the birth and growing up of souls, and in the joy of their joys, and in proclaiming of their adoration for my boundless universe. I call to them in darkness, and they come forth, but they halt in darkness, and I call again, and I send my higher upraised angels to them, and they call also. Yea, I fill the sky with the splendor of my worlds, and corporal, that I may stir man up to rise and enjoy the things I have made. The voice departed, and Ajin said, Behold, the glory of the heavens, O my beloved, and the reward of the diligent in heart. Jehovah liveth and reigneth, the highest and never to be reached, the forever beyond and yet ever present. That might be our title, the forever beyond and yet ever present. O thou light of light and life of life, how wonderful is the substance of thy creation. Thou hast given me light to behold thy splendor, which are forever new, O Jehovah, thou past, present, and future of one time, which is and was and ever shall be. Jehovah, thou seen and unseen and potent, who has from thy very self imparted a part to all the living, who has raised up these of horrid. Glory be to thee forever and ever. And now, by certain signs and signals, Ajin directed the officers of his host to take possession of Moab and Horeb, and the marshals extended out around the place, and by their presence added new light to the pillars of fire. And the marshals were decorated with colored raiment and signs and symbols, denoting the places whence they came, and their rank as gods, and the experience they had passed through. When Ajin ceased speaking, the music of the chosen band of descending angels broke upon the place, first faintly and far off. The work of the marshals was in keeping with the time of the music, and as the music drew nearer and stronger, so also more and more of the number of marshals descended and filed off to their respective places. Presently, the advance of the horns of the crescent. Presently, the advance of the horns of the crescent and the cold wave of the falling sea of fire swept over the lower heaven fearfully and unquestionable and of unquestionable power. By a signal from God, the brides and bridegrooms joined in the music of the archangels, and great was the glory thereof. Betwixt the horns of the crescent was a star of wonderful beauty. Oh, okay. That's the picture. Okay. Presently, the advance of the horns of the crescent and the cold wave of the falling sea of fire swept over the lower heaven fearfully and of unquestionable power. By a signal from God, the brides and bridegrooms joined in the music of the archangels, and great was the glory thereof. Okay, so the picture, I should have read what plate 1 said. Listen, okay, plate 1, earth, lower heaven, and the Ethereal host descending. Okay, So it doesn't say plate 1 over here, but clearly the end of this is describing plate 1. Okay, let me show it to you again. I can be a little slow sometimes. Y'all moving slow. I went to bed after 3 o'clock this morning, up packing, all this. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh, Father, I hope I do not oversleep. I was like, I need to be live at 7:15. I told my husband, I'm going to set my clock for 7:12. Okay, look. Okay, so that's the picture, right? Okay, let me hold this up. Okay. So this, clearly, now we understand is the lower heaven. Hold on, I'm doing this for, hold on. Can both of y'all see this? Okay. Okay, I think everybody can see it now. Okay, so this part is the lower earth, right? And this is like the sky between the lower earth and the heaven up here, or the next level of worlds up here. And this right here is the resurrection happening. That's the band of those angels or gods who are ascending back up right after this ceremony of the changing of the guard, right? So now it's new rulership down here over the earth. Okay, let me read this again. I'm going to go, it's 32 verses. I'm going to start at 30 and then we'll be done. Okay. When Ajin ceased speaking, the music of the chosen band of descending angels broke upon the place, first faintly and far off. The work of the marshals was in keeping with the time of the music, and as the music drew nearer and stronger, so also more and more of the number of marshals descended and filed off to their respective places. Presently, the advance of the horns of the crescent and the cold wave of the falling sea of fire swept over the lower heaven fearfully and of unquestionable power. By a signal from God, the brides and bridegrooms joined in the music of the archangels, and great was the glory thereof. Betwixt the horns of the crescent was a star of wonderful beauty, and that was a star right down there. You had the crescent, and right down there at the bottom of the crescent is a star. And that is, whose flag is that, y'all? Is that Turkey's flag? With the crescent and a star? It's turned a different way, though. Okay. That's somebody's star. Also, I think it's in Islam as well. I got to check the flags. Don't quote me on that. But the crescent and the star, definitely. Somebody got that. Betwixt the horns of the crescent was a star. Okay, the horns of the crescent, you got like the crescent moon. Each point is a horn. So this crescent is like flipped upside down, so it looks like this. And between these two, the horns of the crescent was the star. Okay. Betwixt the horns of the crescent was a star of wonderful beauty, and it came toward God's throne, reflecting countless rays of light, brilliantly and awe-inspiring. And as the star drew near, it opened on the advanced side as a shell is opened, and there, with arms entwined, sat Etizai and Onezi. Hold on. What did I say her name was? Onesy, Onesy, Onesyi, Onesy. I think I said we was gonna call her Onesy. Okay. And as the star drew near, it opened on the advanced side as a shell is opened, and there, with arms entwined, sat Etizai and Onzi, goddesses. And it has reference letter I after goddesses. And that goddesses is actually the last word. So we're going to read this I footnote. Listen. Reference footnote I says, Etizai and Onzi have been preserved symbolically as Gemini in the signs of the zodiac. Read this last sentence again. Betwixt the horns of the crescent was a star of wonderful beauty, and it came towards God's throne, reflecting countless rays of light, brilliantly and awe-inspiring. And as the star drew near, it opened on the advanced side as a shell is opened, and there, with arms entwined, sat Etizii and Onzi, goddesses. Etizii and Onzi have been preserved symbolically as Gemini and the signs of the zodiac. That is really interesting. All right, beautiful people, and that is our reading for today. We pause here. We'll pick back up with chapter 20 tomorrow. And that's page 33. All right, so let's pick it up in the meditation book on page 71. Y'all, I'm really shocked. I heard my clock go off this morning. Jen, good morning. I was saying to myself, I have every mind just to cancel tomorrow altogether. I should not still be up. I thought about it like 20 different times, saying tomorrow we're just going to take a break. I didn't. I'm here. Okay, that's the front of the book. This book, you say, show me the front of the book, please. This one, the meditation book, or the Oahspe? This is the front of the meditation book by Dr. Oahspe. And just in case you was talking about the Oahspe. Dana, hey girl, hey. That's what the front of the Oahspe looks like. Okay. What about Russia? Francis, it's always something, right? They always into something. I don't know. It's something is going on. I ain't following it too closely, but something is, especially because all the stuff for Russia. We talked about it a few weeks back. There, remember that book that I told y'all about? That joke was like $4,000. Either somebody purchased it. They I don't know. How can I say it? When things are important or pieces of the puzzle in book form, when they're made available to the masses, the prices are jacked up sky high. So the majority of the masses can't actually purchase it. They tell you about it and they put it out there, but they make the price so high to kind of like price out the people that don't want to have it. It's like what they do all over the world. Even like with different types of neighborhoods and stuff, the certain type of people that they don't want there, they just price them out. They don't have to be they don't have to show discrimination like mouthwise. We don't want you here. We don't want your kind here. All they got to do is price you out. That's the new way of discriminating against everybody. Don't care who you are. They just gonna price you out, right? We only want a certain kind here, right? Price that $10,000, please. Yes, for that pen, $10,000. All right, y'all. Page 71. Yeah, page 71. Introduction. Hold on. I don't know why I keep reading that every time, because that's literally at the beginning of every chapter while it's going through here, but I'll read it. Introduction to the Sema Tawii of meditation. It is well known and commonly accepted that meditation has been practiced in India from ancient times. Therefore, there is no need to cite specific references to support that contention. Here, we will concentrate on the evidence supporting the existence of the philosophy of meditation in ancient Egypt. The paths of meditation practice in ancient Egypt is called Uashedi. Uaa Shedi, Shedy. And so it has, hold on. It's starting with number 2, meaning we did number 1. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, because we did it a few days ago. Okay. What is it? Meditation. What was it? Listening, reflection, meditation. But over here, it's 3. They put it in a different, meditate. Okay. Y'all, if y'all got the book, just go back and look. But okay, it's just kind of building and breaking it up. It's giving you like the chart of what they're going to talk about, and then they'll start going through and doing one, and that'll be like a few pages, and then you would think you want another chapter because of the bold headings and stuff, but it's still following this course. Okay, so keep up, y'all. Oahspe, and I'm going to show you the little diagram right here, right? So it's meditate. Let's see, everybody can see. Okay, so it has meditate, and it has the points for this meditation portion. Somebody read it. Okay. So meditate. Number 2, Untitled. Meditation. Experience the transcendental supreme self. The forms of Niterian meditation discipline include Orat Sekhem, which is meditation on the subtle life force. Then you have Ari Smai Ma'at, and that's meditation on the righteous action. And then you have Nuk Pu Ushet, and that's meditation on the I am. Thank you. Oh, duh. Thank you, Francis. That's Russia's flag, the crescent and the star. Wow, I said Turkey. And Islam, I think Islam is just what? Don't get me started. I ain't studied the flags. I just remember seeing them. Okay. All right. But thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. The third one, Nuk Pu Ushet. That's meditation on the I am. Then you have Nuk Ra Aku. That's meditation on the glorious light. And then you have number 5, Rek Khem, Khemen, meditation on the wisdom teaching. And then you have Ket Ankh, meditation on the tree of life. The paths of Kamashan meditation practice are varied so as to allow for the capacities and inclinations of a particular individual. This book will provide an overview of the practices. For detailed and specific aspects of a particular discipline, please consult the additional resources listed below. Then you have I got I got 3 of these books. Okay, these books, 6. Okay, all of those 6 that I just labeled, all of those 6 that I just labeled, for each one, he actually did a whole book for each one. And the first book is called Glorious Light Meditation System of Ancient Egypt, and that one is the Glorious Light. And up the top, that's the Nuk Ra Aku, and that is on the meditation of the glorious light. And then you have Mysteries of Isis. I have that one, and that is meditation on the wisdom teaching. And above, that's actually called Rek Kim, meditation on the wisdom teaching. And then you have the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That is meditation on the I am, right? And it's called Nuk Pu Ushet. And then his book titled The Path of Divine Love. That is meditation on the Supreme Beloved. Which one would that fall into? Which would still be the meditation on, it will fall into the meditation of the I am, right? And then you have the Serpent Power, and that's meditation on the subtle life force, and that would be the Orat Sekhem book. And then you have the Wisdom of Ma'ati, and that's the meditation on righteous action, which is called Ari Smai Ma'at. Okay. System of meditation. Glorious light system, specific location where it was practiced in ancient times. Temple of Seti the First, city of Waset or Thebes, which Waset is also known as Thebes. And it has a reference number 17, which says, for more details, see the book, The Glorious Light Meditation System of Ancient Egypt by Dr. Oahspe. Okay. Number 3, system of meditation. In the under 3, you have A and B. And A says, wisdom system, specific location where it was practiced in ancient times, which is the temple of Aset, Philae Island, Aswan. Then you have B, the I am system, specific location where it was practiced in ancient times, Pert-em Heru, the Book of the Dead. You have number 4, system of meditation. Serpent power, specific locations where it was practiced in ancient times, Temple of Hetharu, Temple of Jehudi, Temple of Aset, Temple of Uajit, the serpent goddess, and Temple of Asar, city of Abdu. Number 5, system of meditation. That's the righteous action meditation, the specific location where it was practiced in ancient times, and all temples and general discipline. Okay. I'm just reading, but it's going further on what we just read, those 6 meditation systems. It's labeling them again for the 3rd time, and it's telling you where it was practiced in ancient times, like where they did this. And this is really, really interesting, because remember that course I told y'all that I got, that I asked them, can I teach? They never responded. They answered all my other questions except for that one. They just ignored that question. They seem to ignore it, but they just don't answer. And like Dana said, no answer is probably your answer. Okay, so in that course, they also, when it just dawned on me, they actually teach about this too, in the different meditations and where it was practiced. Okay, and where it was practiced. So all of this stuff is like coming full circle, that I've been exposed to, all the stuff that I have in my possession. A lot of it I haven't gone through yet. I just kind of been doing little short studies, but I have it. But I got enough pieces of the puzzle to realize that all of this is it's the same big puzzle. And it's like, you know how you got different scenes in a picture? That's what it's like. It's like different scenes in a picture, maybe like a jungle picture or something, or maybe a city. Let's say you got a puzzle of a city, maybe like the city of Chicago or something, right? But in the picture, you have different scenes. You got like a park scene with children playing and the parents down there pushing them on the swings. You got all them puzzle pieces, right? So if you're putting a puzzle together, if you know the puzzle is a city, you can begin kind of putting it together scene by scene. And that's kind of how all this is coming together, right? And the different scenes of the city, or maybe like the different religions that got a portion of the truth, and you put that together like, oh, okay. And then so this over here, and then you got the factories back here smoking, people going to work. You got roads, you got trains, you got planes, you got all these different things. You got school buildings over here. You got a whole hospital scene rushing in. Like all of these little different scenes is happening in this one picture. So you get like a glimpse of the city and what's happening. The more I read through this, all these different pieces, it's like I'm starting to see, with little different pieces of the puzzle for different scenes being put together, I'm starting to see like the bigger overall picture. It's really interesting. It just kind of clicked. Going through this again. Hold on. All right. Let me just read this again. Okay. Okay. The systems of meditation. Okay. The glorious light system. The glorious light system. Specific location where it was practiced in ancient times. The temple of Seti the First, the city of Waset in Thebes. Number 3, systems of meditation. The wisdom system, specific location where it was practiced in ancient times. The temple of Aset in Philae Island, Aswan. B, the I am system, specific location where it was practiced in ancient times. The Pert-em Heru, Book of the Dead. System of meditation, serpent power system. The specific location where it was practiced in ancient times, the temple of Hetheru, the temple of Jehudi, the temple of Aset, temple of Uajat, the serpent goddess, and the temple of Asar, city of Abdu. System of meditation, righteous action meditation. Specific location where it was practiced in ancient times, in all temples. It's a general discipline, right? Everybody needs to know this, right? The righteous action meditation. Everybody need to be doing righteous action. It was practiced everywhere. Like, you going to college, you got your general college, you got your general classes. Everybody has to take the general classes, right? Everybody needs to understand right action. This right action is the meditation that everybody needs to practice, right? And it's practiced everywhere in all temples. It's a general discipline. And number 6, system of meditation is the devotional meditation. Specific location where it was practiced in ancient times, in all temples. It too is a general discipline. Everybody got to take this before you go off and specialize, right? Okay, next page. What we at? Oh, we had an hour? We're going to pause right here today. I don't want to stop, y'all. I am super tired. I am going to go lay. I say to myself, I'm going to go lay back down for a little bit. The kids already up. I hear them. I don't know, but we're going to pause right here today, right? Because I'm like, see, I can feel it. My body is still tired. We got to pause. I don't know. I probably won't go back to sleep. I'm going to go in here and do what I normally do. Juice me a fresh juice. Just walk through here, some fresh air. Finish opening up the curtains. Probably walk to the mailbox or something. And I'm going to be lit for the rest of the day. Y'all, look. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I for real, though. I think I will. I'm going to take a nap before the day is out. I think today is kind of a slow day with the business anyway. So, whew, y'all, okay. All right, so that's it for today, y'all. We got to pause. We got to pause. All right, so it is Monday, April the 25th, 2022, day 91 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1109. We read pages 28 through 33 in the Oahspe, and then we read pages 71 through 72 in the meditation book. All right, y'all. Background is going to be changing at the end of the week because we're going to turn the keys in Saturday. So from Saturday, you will not see the yellow walls ever again. Like ever again. You will no longer see this background. And after that, for the next couple of weeks, depending on how long it takes to close on our brand new property, from that little transfer period time, we'll be in the hotel. So for about 2, possibly 3 weeks, you can see the background of the hotel, and then you see the background of our new home. All right, y'all. So, but it's summertime. Look, I'm super excited about it. It depends on how the wind is blowing in the morning. Yes, babe. Go ahead. Depending on how the wind is blowing in the morning, I'm super excited. Because got a nice little deck area, and I also have a sunroom, right? So, yes, go ahead, y'all. Oh my gosh. So, some mornings we may be streaming from the sunroom. I'm gonna get it all nice and pretty, like with flowers. It's gonna look tropical. That's like gonna be the theme of our backyard. Look, and we got a pool, right? So some days it might be poolside. Super stoked about this, y'all. So, I don't know. The summer days, if the wind is not blowing too bad, I don't know, I might have to get me like a better mic or something because I'll be sitting outside. Those are my plans. In my head, that's how I'm planning it, right? So, change up the scenery on different mornings and stuff. So, but yeah, that's it. So, I said all that to say the background will change Friday, because we're going to do the walkthrough Saturday. Yeah. I'll be streaming. I think I'm going to be streaming from the hotel because we check in Friday. Yeah, because ain't going to be nothing to sleep on in here. Yeah, I'll be streaming Saturday morning. Yeah, you'll probably still see me here Friday with this background, but Saturday, yeah. So Friday be the last day you will see the yellow walls in our casita, right? So yeah. All right, y'all, but that's it. Hey, that ain't. I'm done. Jen, look, I'm about to. You said put a movie on for the kids and nap on the sofa. It's really about to be that kind of day. It really is. Still got not a lot of packing, but it's still a lot of packing to do. But it's gonna be a lazy day, right? Yeah. So that's it, y'all. May y'all bless you all in all that you do. May everything that you touch turn to gold. Meaning may it prosper. And hey, may it also turn to gold too, right? It's a hot commodity right now. Everybody could use a little bit of extra gold. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.